Hello there everybody, Sam's Trains here, welcome back to the railway and welcome back to another loco review, this time of another beautiful Hatton's tank engine. So during my last review I took a look at the new Hatton's bundle that I'd bought. It was this one, the Steelworks Shunter bundle, amazing price, £40 off, and there's still some in stock, so if you want to check those out I've got a link down in the description. £125, there we go, that's what it costs. Last review I took a look at the rolling stock from that bundle, that is those over there, the Warwell wagons, fantastic wagons. They got the highest score I've ever given to a wagon over this year, so pretty amazing. Check that out if you'd like, there's a link up there if you want to see that. Today though I'm going to be looking at the loco from that bundle, and that is this, the Hatton's Barclay, the Andrew Barclay 040 saddle tank engine. I've looked at one of these before, it was the Caledonian Blue version, you can find that video if you like, but it's over 2 years ago and I'd love to see a different version. This is a different version, you can probably tell by now because you've seen the intro clips, so it will be interesting to see a different version, but I'm also interested to cast new eyes over this. It's been a few years since I've taken a close look, so we'll take a look at this today and hopefully really enjoy it. Now the full price for this particular version, this is KT by the way, is £99, however they are on sale for £89 at the moment. Again, link in the description if you want to pick it up, or as I say, you can get it with the Warwells for only £125. Anyway, let's stop rambling, let's get this out. Can't wait to see what KT's like with the big buffers, and let's find out. So as usual from Hatton's, we've got really good quality packaging. It's kind of tiny as well, really small, I like that, and very, very solid as well. So as you can see by the pack, yes, this is the Andrew Barclay 040 saddle tank, very lovely. Can't wait for this actually, it's been a long time since I've looked at one of these. Let me show the end of the box so you can see more about the version I've got. So mine is Andrew Barclay 040 saddle tank, 16 inch, I think that refers to the cylinder size, it's number 2226, KT in the lined maroon, and I'm looking forward to seeing this lined maroon. It's H4-AB16003, and this is DCC ready to accept a 6-pin DCC decoder, so that's what you need if you want to chip this. There's not an awful lot else to see on the box. You can see it has been checked. Normally I don't like people testing models and such, but as Hatton's are the manufacturer, I think it's pretty good that they test their own models. It's not like there's some third party handling the models and possibly damaging them, so obviously that is perfectly okay. Let's get this open then and take a look. Top slides off nicely. There's something quite enjoyable about the way the top of the box slides off. Oh gosh, things have taken a turn for the strange already. Okay, let's take a look at the paperwork. Let's bring it back home, shall we? Right. So, Andrew Barclay locomotives, it says there. There's a nice little flyer about them there. Handling the locomotives, operating instructions. Let's have a quick look inside. Oh, look at that. All printed in colour. Analog, digital, fitting a decoder. Yeah, that's kind of important. Fitting crew, if you want to do that. Yeah, I think Hatton's did produce some crew for these at some point. Detail parts, yeah, that's quite important. And there's also a little bit about the warranty on the back there. So, yeah, worth holding on to that and also reading it, obviously, if you're owning one of these for the first time. Okay, look at this. Proper foam to protect it. Yeah. Okay. Well, it's shrouded in the excellent packaging. Look at all this packaging around it. There's foam around the edge, blister pack in the middle, all wrapped in plastic. Yes, very, very good. Scrupulous packaging. Okay, that's it though. That's everything that's in the box. So there we have it. Look at that tiny little blister pack. Right, let's have a look, see what we get inside here then. Right, so there is a detail bag on the top. Let's have a look at that. Wow, these look good as well. Look, so we've got those 3-link couplings attached to the coupling hooks there, so you can put those on the buffer beam. It'd be really cool to get a little tool that will allow you to couple those up. I bet you could use them though. And then there's also some nicely painted, actually, vacuum pipes, which look good on there as well. So, yep, feel free to fit those if you want to. Let's have a look at old Katie then and see how she's looking. Okay. Ooh, look at that. Wow, that livery is stunning. I mean, I've seen pictures of this, don't get me wrong, and videos and things, but don't think I've seen one in the flesh besides at the sort of exhibitions I've been to. Wow, look at that. Sorry, just cut myself off there to show you this. Look at that, that is fantastic. One thing I'd forgotten is the weight as well. This is really heavy, and you can tell why. It's got this thick, chunky die-cast running plate, which brings an awful lot of weight with it. Man, I love the top of the safety valves there in that silver paint. That looks incredible. And my goodness, those buffers are big. Wow. Very, very big indeed. That is wonderful. And again, I've said this quite a lot in the past, it is amazing what a change of livery can achieve, isn't it? It looks completely different to my Caledonian version, and I'll get that running in a little while if you want to see what that's like. Yeah, presumably there are some variations between the two versions. There are 12 different variants in all of these Andrew Barclay locos. Some of them have enclosed cabs, they have various cylinder sizes. Obviously this one's got big buffers, loads of different variations. Check out the range because there are still quite a few left. Anyway, here's a little bit of history on the Andrew Barclay Company and these locos themselves. So Andrew Barclay, Sons and Company were founded in 1892 and they specialised in the production of industrial steam locomotives. The company became known for producing their own range of saddle tank engines which were customisable in order to suit the needs of the customer. Consequently, the Barclay 040 saddle tank design was produced with a huge number of variations, including open or closed cabs, different cylinder sizes, tanks with varying water capacities, and even different chassis lengths. Barclay engines were built to meet different designs to the locomotives of larger railways. These, for example, had to be able to handle really tight curves and point work, which was common on the various marshalling yards and exchange sidings where they'd be working. And interestingly, in real life, many of the Barclay engines outlived the end of the steam era in the 1960s because many of them were privately owned and their owners were quite happy to continue to work with them in their various industries. As a result, many of them can still be seen at preservation railways today, and they serve as an excellent starter locomotive for new crews due to their small size and ease of use. Alright, so there you have not just Katie, but also my Caledonian Andrew Barclay up close and personal for you. I've got both up there because I'm amazed by just how different these two are. Now, I've already said there are different variations between the different Andrew Barclay models. I knew there were some differences, but I'm ever so slightly mind blown by just how many variations there seem to be between the various different Andrew Barclay models. It's certainly a lot more than just the buffers, cylinder size and different cabs. Take a look at this. The tanks are entirely different. Katie's is way taller, and that's one of the key aspects of the body, the loco body. It's entirely different. The running plate is also totally different. Can you see at the front there? Yeah, it's a totally different tooling, isn't it? How expensive it must have been to produce such differences. It is way more than just a change in livery, or as I thought it was, with some extra bits. I mean, look, the steps on the running plate there, entirely different between the two, and those steps are not just plastic separately fitted parts either. They are part of the die casting. Absolutely incredible. You've got this, what looks like a ladder on the side of Katie's tank there. Again, that area looks completely different on the Caledonian version. The cylinders, as you can see, are considerably different. I've already talked about those, but yeah, you can see we've got the different cylinder sizes represented there. Yeah, the differences are amazing. They're like two entirely differently tooled models. It's really impressive. The cost must have been astronomical, really, to think that these are the same price as the Peckett. Whew. Anyway, let's take a look at Katie on her own then. So let's talk about the weight first. Now, these do just have plastic tanks. They are not die-cast like the Hornby Peckett was. However, they weigh the same amount due to the heavy running plate and I suppose the heavy chassis as well. 129 grams, the same as the Peckett. Really quite impressive. The decoration is really good as well. I'll show you some of the lining up close. That is really good, isn't it? Really crisp. No problems whatsoever with that. It's all perfectly applied. We've got quite a nice KT nameplate there. It isn't etched, which is a little bit of a shame. On some super premium models, you do get some etched nameplates and they do look better, I think. But for the price, 89 quid, nobody's complaining. Same thing goes with the side of the cab. As you can see, maybe that's a builder's plate, maybe that's something else. It's very tiny. I'll try and get a close-up so that you can see. Also on the side of the cab, lots of lining and also separately fitted metal handrails as well, of which the model has quite a lot. You've got one over the smoke box door there and also on the sides of the tanks, which are all very finely fitted. Let's take a look at the smoke box area then. As you can see, the dart on the smoke box door there is entirely separately fitted, very fine as well. Up top there we have a separately fitted lamp iron and there looks to be a separately fitted valve or something to the left of the smoke box there. I'll try and get a closer look at that. I also like the top area of the loco. You can see the safety valve assembly there has been sort of separately painted or probably separately fitted as a different coloured piece. I really like the contrast between the red of the body and the black of that system. That looks really good. And of course the safety valves themselves have been separately painted. Those are just plastic, but the whistle on top of the cab is a metal piece, which looks great. I mean, like I've always said, you can't beat metal, can you? Plastic just doesn't cut it, and that looks way better. Even behind the ladder going to the tank, you can see we've got pipe work there. Now there's a bit of a problem with that because you actually have to unplug that pipe from the side of the boiler in order to remove the body, and that does cause problems. I struggled to do that with my other Andrew Barclay, so do bear that in mind if you want to DCC fit it. It's not the most straightforward thing in the world, but it's not terrible, I suppose. It is a little bit of a shame that the lower portion of the boiler hasn't been fully modelled, because you can quite clearly see the chassis block visible there. So perhaps in one or two areas the finesse leaves a little bit to be desired, but then again I suppose it would have required some real design genius to have avoided having that chassis block visible there. So it's not a huge complaint, but obviously it is a little bit noticeable if you're looking up close. We've got glazed windows on the cab, as you can see. Unfortunately, if you look on the inside, you can see that that is just one large glazing piece. They're not individually glazed, which does look a little bit unconvincing, doesn't it, given how open the cab is. However, the rest of the cab detail is really quite impressive. You've got a lot of separately fitted components there. I mean, you can clearly see the reverser, the brake levers, the regulator, all separately fitted. It isn't just sort of a moulded cab piece that's been slightly painted. It's a really, really good cab besides the glazing, I would say. And even fitted to the back of the cab, look, you've got this sort of brake lever. I assume that would be a brake lever, which is, again, a separately fitted, very, very fine piece, which looks great. Out of the box, the loco does come with the NEM couplings pre-fitted, although of course if you'd rather use something a bit more realistic, they are removable as per NEM, so that's good. The buffers are made of metal as well. They're nicely painted, or at least the ends of them are, which is great. And of course, yes, they are sprung. Look at that, sprung buffers. This is a really premium model, isn't it? You can tell. The wheel set looks fantastic as well. As you can see, this one's largely painted red. I believe my Caledonian one was painted blue. Yet we've got properly painted axles, as you can see, which is great. And the coupling and connecting rods, I do love that highly saturated red they've used there. Really, really lovely model, isn't it? Just superb, actually. And like I say, the differences between the different variances are shocking. I did not know there were that many. So let's talk a little bit about the mechanism. One thing that my previous review of the Barclay didn't cover was the mechanism, because I hadn't opened it up and seen it. As I've already said, it is a bit difficult to access these, so I'm not going to open them up on camera, but at least I can talk a little bit about what I know is inside these. So there she is then, Katie, down onto the track, ready for her first ever test. I'm really looking forward to this, because now we're going to talk about my favourite aspect of the model, and that is the mechanism. Now, so often these days, particularly from smaller manufacturers, we've seen really quite fussy mechanisms. I've seen pickups which work through the axles and therefore don't work properly, coreless motors, no proper bearings, or sometimes just downright poor quality mechanisms. The great news is there's no such fussy or pants design going on with these Hatton's 040 locos, and that is why I love them so much. So we've got proper bearings on the wheel set which ensure the loco's longevity and also the quality of the performance. We've got proper wiper pickups going to each wheel, so that's pretty good. We've got a 5-pole motor inside this loco, so if this loco can fit a 5-pole motor inside, any loco can, and it's a really good motor as well. They run beautifully. Hopefully this loco is not going to let me down now that I've said all that, because here comes the first ever test. So this has not been running yet. Obviously we won't pass final judgment as usual until the loco's run in, but straight out of the box here is the performance. Now I'm interested to see how this goes today, because obviously these models have been out for a long while. It's very possible that this loco's just been sat in its box for a long time without any oil or cleaning, whatever. So let's see how this actually goes. Let's give it some juice. Ooh. Well, it's working quite smoothly straight out of the box. Can I go a bit slower with it? Look at that, wow. That's not bad, is it? I think it has stopped. So maybe, well, we'll see. I do remember that my other Barclay was struggling a little bit with cutting out, mainly just on point work, because obviously the wheelbase is so tiny, same as the Peckett's really. But that's not too bad. It's a little bit, well, inconsistent at the slowest speeds, but like I say, it probably just needs running in. Let's go a bit faster. So they do go pretty quickly, as you can see, as well. It's not criminally fast, I would say, but that's 50% speed there, which is pretty speedy, must be said. I'm not really sure what the top speed of these locos would be, but yeah, it's fairly quick. So let's give this a run around the layout. I'll go about half an hour in each direction. Then we'll come back, try the crawl again, see if it's any better. If it's not, I'll show you how you can clean the wheels and maybe adjust the pickups to boost the performance. Okay, let's get it running. So we've had a bit of a stuttery start, but hopefully the running in period will fix that, fingers crossed. As you can tell, it's running nice and smoothly, nice and quietly as well, not a lot of noise coming out of this at all really. Like I say, a little bit on the fast side, so yep, you want to keep the speed down so as not to make the thing look like it's a rocket or something. But besides that, as you can tell, the performance is really good. So I'll keep this running, and then we'll come back after it's running and I'll try it on the express points and we'll try that crawl again, see if we can notice any difference. Okay folks, we are back. Whoa. That went very much without hitch, no derailments, no stopping on points, although as I say, it does run quite fast, so it's only going to be stalling on points at the low speed. Anyway, let's see if it's stalling on just regular track. The dead zone of the express point is there, and I'm going to test that in a second, but we don't want to test that right now. Let's just try the crawl on normal tracks. So backwards it goes. Let's try this. Whoa, look at that. And it is no longer stalling. I tell you what, I was all ready to take this thing apart and stop messing with the pickups. It just shows the value of running in, doesn't it? I'm glad I didn't now. Look at that, that is great. Now I do know that it's going to stop on the express point when I go over that. Just to warn you, it's definitely going to happen because the wheelbase is smaller than the dead zone. So I would say Electro Frog points are the best to use with this loco. I don't think express points are that fair on it really, but I'll demonstrate it I suppose. Look at that, we've got even slower now. I must say maybe you would get a bit more control at the slow speeds. The crawl is fantastic, but perhaps if it was geared to run a bit more slowly, I mean that's 50% speed, don't forget. It's not a problem, but as I say, yeah, it might be better if the gearing favoured the slower speeds more than the higher ones, but it's a tiny nitpick, it's not going to affect anything. Right, let's go relatively slow then, so that is pretty slow. And it does indeed stop on the points. It nearly got away with it, but as you can see, if I lift the camera up, both wheels there are in fact on the dead zone, so yeah, I don't know what you're going to do about that, besides install some stay alive system or something. For now though, let's get the entire bundle coupled together. So I've got those two war wells from the last review ready to get coupled up to. Let's see if old Katie can handle it. By the way, this is a very powerful loco. It's more powerful than the Peckett, interestingly. So there's no doubt in my mind that this will be able to manage it. Let's go see. And the smoothness of the performance is just amazing, don't you think? It is just phenomenal, really good. Have the couplings engaged? Yeah, they have, great. Yeah, this is why I don't like cordless motors. I have not got any locos with the cordless motors that can do this. Look at that. That is marvellous. Maybe I take back what I said about the gearing. I mean, you couldn't ask for much of a better crawl than that, could you? And that is on DC, folks. Don't believe the myth that only DCC locos can do a good crawl. That's just something people say to gratify locos with poor mechanisms. No, DC operation is perfectly adequate if the loco is up to the challenge. And as you can see, this one absolutely is, even with a load now. And that's 200 grams of Warwell, over 200 because they've got the decks installed. And it's acting like there's nothing coupled whatsoever. Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? It's amazing. And this is why, this is why I am happy to have Hatton's affiliate links in my description. People might say, oh, he only gives them positive reviews because, he's affiliated with them. Well, no, you got it the wrong way around. I'm only happy to be affiliated with them because of their quality models and great service. And as you can see, this loco is just a fine ambassador for that. Very, very much so. All right, let's get it going then. I could sit and watch this crawl for hours, but let's not do that. Let's go for about 25 speed and see how it goes. I'm also going to be running some other 040 locos today. So on the middle line, I have the other Andrew Barclay, which I've owned now for over 2 years. And the performance is still as good as it was when it came out of the box, besides the slight jumps on the express points, as you can tell. The other thing you'll see is that I'm not afraid to load these up. This one's got 4 coaches, and this Great Western coach is pretty heavy. Yeah, I just trust these. I know the motors aren't going to burn out if I put too many coaches behind them. Yeah, they're just that good a quality. They really are, and anyone that owns one will tell you the same thing, I would think, except for the performance on the point, which is the only downside. I really must try some stay alive capacitors. There we go. But once it gets up to a bit of a speed, yeah, it's fine. And then on the inside line, I've got another classic 040 model from the last few years. It is, wait for it, it's coming. not the best timing there, Sam. It is, of course, the Hornby Peckett. Similar price, similar quality. I really like these as well. So there we go. Enjoy the running session, see which other 040s you can spot, and there is an odd one out. Look at that for a great runner, folks. So smooth. It makes you wonder how other manufacturers can see that sort of performance and then still opt for cordless motors, because a lot of them are doing it these days. No, can't beat 5 poles, absolutely not. Yeah, I just love these. I love them as much as I did when they first came out. They're not fussy, they've kept it simple, but they've done them properly. They've got great mechanisms, they've not skimped on that, even though you can't see the mechanism when you're buying it on the shelf. Even though you have no idea what's inside, they have not skimped on that whatsoever. The level of detail is superb, and then obviously all of it comes together to produce just a fantastic looking loco as it runs along. I can't recommend it enough, really, and in the bundle like this for £125, it's a complete steal. I'm really glad I went for it, and yes, the pun wasn't lost on me, because it's for shunting steel, the bundle. I've now explained the joke. Oh, that's a bit of a cringe, actually. Let's stop this scene now. And you can see what a beast they are as well. 4 coaches there. That red one's a really old, heavy one with loads of drag, hauling them as though there's nothing coupled to it at all. Amazing. So like I say, links below if you want to check out the range of Andrew Barclay locos, and also if you're interested in the bundle. I think that's what I'd recommend, but then I guess you're stuck with Katie if that's not what you want. So check them out, yeah, see what's on offer. You might be able to pick yourself up a bargain. The Caledonian is, I think, preservation livery, which is why I've chosen that odd mixture of coaches to put behind it. But yeah, I think that looks quite nice. There goes the Peckett, again a bit of a preservation type train there with the southern vans. So let's take a look at some of my ratings then for the highly impressive Hatton's Andrew Barclay 040 saddle tanks. So the level of detail, as you can see, I've given 4-star. The level of detail was really, really impressive. The liveries are consistently top notch, or at least on the ones I've seen. The number of variations, the sheer number of variations to the tooling that Hatton's have produced just in order to achieve accurate models is phenomenal. That's really, really impressive. They have loads of separately fitted parts. The cabs are really impressive. The only things that really let it down were the visible chassis block, the slightly unrealistic looking glazing piece in the windows, and also the lack of etched nameplates and builder's plates, that kind of thing. Obviously those are very, very premium features, but it would have been nice to have seen them, I suppose. But overall, yeah, the level of detail is really, really good. Performance is also very good. I've given this 4-star. The slow crawl straight out of the box wasn't the best, but after just half an hour's running in each direction, it was top notch, really, really good. The only things I would genuinely fault with the performance is the high speed. They do run a little bit fast, perhaps a little bit different gearing to favour the slow speeds over the high ones would have made the performance a little bit better, and also the fact that it does tend to stall on insel frog points at the slower speeds. Not an awful lot you can do about that without investing in some sort of stay alive technology, something like that. Maybe that's something that should be fitted as standard to locos with such tiny wheelbases. Besides that though, performance is really, really good. The pulling power is fantastic as well. I measured a drawbar tractive effort of 0.16 newtons, which should be enough for this loco to haul around 13 coaches. Look at the size of it, 13 coaches on straight and level track. Obviously on an incline or around curves it will be a little bit less, but that's still quite a lot more than other larger locos. I mean, the Peckett weighs the same, it's much more than the Peckett. I think the Peckett was 0.14 newtons, so it's 0.2 newtons more than that. It's more than the DJM 1361, that has an extra pair of driving wheels. Same with the Hornby Pannier. It's quite a lot more than that as well. Very, very powerful really for its size. The mechanism, as you know, has to be a 5-star, really great mechanism. Proper bearings, traditional pickups, which do work very well after running in, and as long as you maintain them, they continue to work well. You've got a great little 5-pole motor inside this, tiny little thing, but they're reliable as anything. Never heard of any of them burning out. Really quite powerful, nice and quiet, and they offer that beautiful performance. The mechanism's fantastic, I really like it. Beautifully smooth, beautifully quiet, just what you want really. The quality is also top notch. There's a lot of metalwork involved with this loco, that's why it's so heavy. That die-cast running plate feels fantastic. It doesn't have the die-cast tanks or anything like that, but it doesn't need them. The weight is obviously great as it it is. Also, the build quality is phenomenal. Every separately fitted piece is sturdily fitted, there's no glue marks in sight, the livery is top notch, no problems whatsoever. I'm going to give it 5-star for quality, definitely. Value for money, I've given just 4-star now. The £99 RRP is absolutely fantastic, I think, for this. I mean, for what you get, the quality, the detail, really, really good. I do think that the other Hatton's Steam Loco, the P-Class, was slightly better value for the same price. They were actually the same price. It's a larger 060. I think that still deserves a 5-star rating on value. I think this one's not quite up there, but it's still very, very good. It's a very reasonable purchase indeed. Overall then, that is an extremely impressive rating of 8.8 out of 10. Let's go into the logbook. There it is, third, just above the Hornby Fowler 264T and below the Rapido J70. Yeah, that is well in the top 5 and also very well deserved. Well folks, there you have it. I hope you enjoyed revisiting the Barclays as much as I did. I really didn't know, well either that or I'd forgotten, just how many different variations there were between the various Andrew Barclay models. It's been quite an amazing thing to discover actually, having bought 2 of them now. Amazing, really, really good. The performance is just out of this world. I can't say enough about it. So I hope you enjoyed that. As I say, thank you for watching, thanks for your company, and I'll see you all very, very soon. All right, folks, you take care of yourselves. See you next time.